Welcome into First Pitch, WagerTalk's premier MLB betting show for Monday, June 7th. 3-game card, short card here in MLB, but we're hitting every single game. We got best bets at the end. So good group of characters alongside me. We got Brian Leonard of WagerTalk.com first up here. Brian, welcome in. Happy Monday morning to you.
Yeah, happy Monday morning to you. We all meet at the bar for beers, and you get there early. I want you to do that. As soon as somebody walks in, you go, "Welcome in, Ralph Michaels. Welcome in, Marco D'Angelo." That would be awesome. Yeah, everything's going well. The only problem is we got a 3-game schedule today, and they just changed one of the pitchers. So, hey, you got to play it by ear. But hockey and basketball are on, and we've won 6 straight NBA, 5 straight hockey. And those are the 2 plays I've got up for paid clients today. So it's $9 Monday. Let's get some winners.
$9 Monday. Sorry for the technical difficulties there, guys. But to Brian's point, we're going to welcome in Tony Finn. Hey, Tony, what can I say? It gets the people going out there. So happy Monday morning to you as well, Tony. Let's get it on. Absolutely, guys. Just a 3-game card here. So if you ever wanted to throw out questions, handicapping questions, MLB questions, Vegas life questions, we do have Tony Finn on. He's a good person to ask. Today's probably your day to get it. We can get some questions here from the chat box on the show. Some time with only 3 games here. And actually, we usually go in order of first pitch, which would be Miami versus the Boston Red Sox. But today we're going to make a little change here because, to Tony's point, the Miami Marlins have scratched Pablo Lopez for today's start, and we're still waiting on a starting pitcher to be named, and if they're just going to go bullpen. So we're going to give the odds makers, the Marlins, I guess we could say, as much time as possible and maybe hit that live here at the end before best bets. So we're actually going to start off in rotation order here, guys. 9:38 is the projected first pitch here, Brian, of the first game. Kansas City Royals in the Angels. The LA Angels minus 155 favorites here. So pretty heavy favorites, minus over $1.50 here. And 9 is the posted total in Los Angeles. We got Cowher making his MLB debut here, Brian, versus Dylan Bundy, the righty, going for LA. Again, minus 155 favorites here at home for the Angels. Any interest in getting involved with the first game here, Royals and Angels?
Just popped up on my trusty Wager Talk line screen. Thompson is going for Miami. Z Thompson. So at least we know who it is, and it looks to be more of a bullpen game. Yeah, Cowher is the guy that they drafted a couple years ago. He's got a lot of talent. He's 6'5" right-hander. They didn't expect the velocity that he's been throwing at, but he hit like 88 his last time out. So they're really excited about that. He's more of a guy who his off-speed pitches, his changeup, I believe, is a 70 grade, which is awesome. And he's got a curveball he's been working on that's very good too. So I'm really excited about to see him pitch. The problem is I usually like to fade those guys their first time in the majors. The Toronto pitcher a couple weeks ago, in fact, might have been last week, came up, pitched really good in his first game, and then he struggled in his second game. These guys, the jump from where they're playing now, single A, double A, triple A, up to the majors is major, especially if you're a guy who is living off of either a real elite fastball or an off-speed pitch that you're more of a one-pitch pitcher, which luckily Cowher is not. And they've struggled in that regard. So don't want Kansas City because of that. I think it's a good spot to bet on Dylan Bundy. And it's rare that I'm saying that, but if you take a look at his advanced stats this year, his pitches are basically his forcing fastball last year was at 90. He's up at 91.5. His changeup was 82.2, now at 84.2. So his velocity is good. The only problem is he gives up too many home runs. And that's been the trouble with Bundy his entire career. when he doesn't give up the home runs like last year. I think he only gave up 5 all season long. I think he's already given up 9 this year. So he's a guy that is hurt by the long ball, but his stats are really good when you take a look at all of his advanced stats. We're taking a look at some of his pitches right now. His barrel rate is 10.5, which is a career high, but every team in the league, every pitcher in the league basically has a large barrel rate adjustment this year because that's what the batters are looking for now. Every year is something different. It used to be they were up there trying not to strike out, then they were trying to hit home runs. Now they're just trying to get the meat of the bat and at a certain angle. And guys are working their swings on those angles where they get from 18 to 30% launch angle. And so everything is going up this year in barrel percentage. So I think it's a situation right now. The line is fair. It's gone up, obviously, but the line is fair to play the Angels here going against a pitcher in his first start. I like to bet her overnight at 125, 135. Now it's lost some of that luster, but I'm still leaning with the Angels.
All right, looking towards the Angels. Another note here, guys, on all 3 games today, it looks to be the wind blowing out. And obviously this one of them here, Tony in LA, looks to be 10 miles an hour blowing out towards center field, 65 degrees. Again, 9:30 Eastern first pitch here. Tony, what do you like in Royals and Angels tonight?
Hard money on a game, and the majority, or at least the weight, the heavy weight that lifts your handicapping is the starting pitcher. I think we need to be careful at this point in time. If the umpires, are going to follow the directive they're under right now, that is, no longer are they going to ask you to remove your hat because, as we mentioned, listen, we were on Joe's show Saturday morning, that they have Brill cream dripping from their cap. They're not going to ask them just to remove the cap and change caps. They're going to remove the pitcher from the game. Not only to take him out of the game, but right now they're talking about some serious, some significant suspensions for that. Something has to be done. I mean, we've returned to 1968. We've returned to Bob Gibson. That kind of pitching dominance over hitters, while runs were much more, let's put it this way, in 68 they weren't scoring, the runs are scoring here, but there's 3 outs right now. There's 3 types of outs right now. I mean, or 3 types of bats. It's a strikeout, a home run, or a walk almost. That's what we're looking at for the majority of the at-bats, which is not very exciting. If you're sitting in the stands or at home watching on TV with your buddies, you probably need a little more than that as far as excitement goes. Jackson Kowar, he was in AAA. That's another reason why I don't trust Kowar as much as I would. I'm one of those that believes AA is where the prospects actually come out of. And I understand that this, under the conditions we're under, the COVID and alternate sites, things are different. But he's 4-0. Got pitched 21 innings, 13 strikeouts in 21 innings, which is not real impressive in this day and age of a strikeout per inning. But 2.93. Actually, his walks are a little higher than they probably should be considering his strikeouts. He has not given up any home runs. 1.25 ERA, 1.52 FIP. So he's pitching to his ERA, and a 197 opponent's batting average against. However, I will agree with Brian. I'll go with the veteran here, Bundy. Despite the fact that Bundy's never lived up to his prospect or his potential as a prospect, and has always struggled with the long ball. So let's lean Angels and probably just watch this game, and I'm interested in seeing how Kowar pitches. So.
All right, good stuff, Tony. And shout out to the chat box, Abby, Jessica joining us. Good to have you in here. Lance as well. Ty, welcome in. Nathan as well. So all of you guys, welcome in. Mid-Major Matt here from sportsmemo.com. Actually, some guys out there saying Tony was muted. So let us know in the chat box if you could just hear him then. That would help us out on the back end. But Tony always bringing the goods here. And Tony, you talk about putting the ball in play, and it's not really happening in MLB like it should. Just real quick here, Tony, before we go on to the next game, because this game is actually my best bet. What do you think MLB should do? We've seen what in some of the lower minor leagues here, they're actually looking to move the mound back a foot. Are you a big fan of that, Tony? How would you fix it?
No. Listen, we've been playing baseball for 152 years. I think that's right. And My MLB power ratings this week, I haven't even turned it in yet because I wanted to do some adjustments and reference some of the dead ball eras that have happened during baseball. Most of the time, the dead ball era, things happen naturally. There's cycles in baseball, like in any sport, and baseball. This is no aberration. Baseball's done a pretty good job of covering up for the discrepancies between pitching and hitting for the most part. The last time we had this kind of discrepancy was 1968. They did raise the mound. They didn't make the mound farther away, which I think was a disaster. There's been rule changes, Drew. There's been plenty of rule changes during baseball. In fact, if I told you some of the rule changes, maybe if you unless you're aware of them, they would surprise you. That pitchers used to have to pitch the first game. They had to pitch underhanded. They couldn't even pitch overhanded. So that was a time when baseball was hitter against fielder. You didn't have strikeouts. Hell, there was 9 balls. You had to throw 9 balls before you were walked. So I don't want to see dimensions change. I don't want to see bases go to 95 feet. This is one of the most perfect games as far as dimensions and how things have worked out the same for the most part 150 years later. So I think it's something that the approach is what they're doing, and that is, listen, quit using the substances. You guys have enough of an advantage right now that you don't need that. And it's not so much about a pitcher wanting to be elite or star. That's part of it, but a lot of this has to do with keeping their jobs. I know they're feeling the pressure that, listen, these other 5 guys on the right of me are using glue, and so I better do it too if I want to keep my job. That's the thing I think they need to address. Nothing else. No moving the pitcher mound back a foot, 5 feet, whatever the case may be, and no changing the bats. I mean, the bats have been the same as far as the ball has for weight, and other than it used to be horsehide, now it's cowhide. Nothing's really changed in baseball. These things will happen. It'll happen again.
That's fair enough, Tony. And you bring up a good point in terms of this might help, taking away some of the glue, the stuff they're using. But quick thoughts from you, Brian, because I'm actually of the camp, we've seen it here with the strikeout rates going up, even though it's MLB talented hitters here. It's just, you can see it in the numbers. The amount of times guys are throwing 100 miles an hour plus, and the ball is just being put in play less. I'm kind of a proponent of trying it out in the minor leagues, see how it goes, and possibly see to do it in Major League Baseball in the show, moving the mound back a foot. I think that it could help out, make it a more entertaining game. Interested on your thoughts and anything you would change to maybe put the ball in play a little bit more, Brian.
Yeah, I just want to touch on something going back to the game we were handicapping. I think Tony might have made a mistake here. He talked about Coar's not striking anybody out. He's got 41 strikeouts in 31 2/3 innings. So I think you might have read something.
Thank you,
there.
Brian. Yeah,
no problem at all.
It was when I said 13 strikeouts to 21 innings, I should have said 13 per 9 innings. That's good catch.
Gotcha. Okay. I had to double check it myself. Obviously, it's the first time you started, so
yeah.
They don't have to change anything. Only thing they need to do, I hate it when they're talking about getting rid of the shifts. Just when you go up to bat, don't swing for home runs every time up. Everything goes in cycles. Clothing goes in cycles. Music goes in cycles. It's time for baseball to get back to creating a more exciting game, having more steals, which they've talked about in the minors, and they've done in the minors, making the bases a little bit bigger. But get back to the way the game used to be played, where you get a guy on base and you do the hit and run, you steal second. Just don't try for home runs all the time. I'm so sick and tired of guys striking out every time they get up to bat. It's just something that the players need to make the adjustments. And to be totally honest with you, if I was a manager and if I was a right-handed hitter and I had everybody defensively playing on the left side of the field, if you didn't at least once during that at bat try to move the ball to the opposite field to get a hit because nobody's there, I would bench you and put somebody else in. You're thinking only about yourself. You're not thinking about the team. They need to go back. Tony's going back farther, 68 and Brill Cream farther than I would go back. But I remember back when baseball was really exciting back in the 70s, the Royals and the Cardinals, a lot of running, great baseball players. I prefer that. I want excitement, and I don't want to just sit there and wait for a guy to hit a home run. I'm not I'm not the big Baltimore Orioles coach, Earl Weaver, looking for that 3-run homer. I want the game to be exciting, and that's the problem baseball has right now. It's just home runs, strikeouts, walks. I'm tired of it. Don't change anything except for the batters need to be able to hit. And all they care about right now is just swinging it air and hoping they hit the ball, and I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, that's how they're also getting paid. That's part of the problem. I don't know how you change that,
Right.
Getting paid on OPS and how many home runs you're hitting. And that's why they're doing that, or at least a big part of the reason why they're doing that as well. And we got guys in the chat box making some funny comments here. Avery saying his wife goes in cycles. Everything goes in cycles. So good stuff, Brian. I agree with you. Close as well. But guys, we're going to hit the nightcap here, hit the Miami Marlins Boston Red Sox game. Yeah, we only have 3 games. Actually, it was only slated to be 2 games. This Red Sox Marlins game is actually a makeup game. So, hey, I guess we're on the lucky side to get 3. But heading to the nightcap here, 10:10 Eastern, 7:10 Pacific, Chicago Cubs at the San Diego Padres. Tony, start off with you here. 7.5 the total in Petco. Looks like the Pods -120 favorites. Weather's on the hill, the lefty for the Padres, the young gun there. And Alzolay, pretty good pitcher here. I know you have a particular name for him, the Cubs starter. I'm kind of liking the Cubs at the plus price. What are you liking here, Tony?
I'll take Frito-Lay and plus money, absolutely. Although this number's coming down. Weathers has been, to some degree, a revelation with injuries to the Padres pitching staff over the last 2 years, not just this year in spring training, but last year as well. They decided that they would fill one of those roster spots with an opener. In a sense, and they essentially what they did with Weathers is they've stretched him out. They've used him in games and stretched him out via Major League Baseball instead of the alternative side or the AAA. And I think he has 11 starts, if I'm not mistaken. This will be his 12th, or at least appearance. And last game was his worst outing of the season. It was his first outing going 5 innings. He had not gone over 4.2 innings until last week. That game was in Wrigley against this Cubs lineup, and he went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. I like the Cubs here. I like Frito-Lay, and I like the fact that there's not one Padre that can take the lineup tonight or take a slot in the lineup tonight that is seen Alzolay. So advantage Cubs, advantage Alzolay, at least the first 2 times through the lineup. And at that point in time, the Cubs bullpen I don't think is as good. San Diego's healthy and rested. However, you get to the back end of that Cubs bullpen, it's pretty darn good. So I'll take the Cubs plus money tonight in Petco.
Like the Cubs plus money here. Brian, I agree with Tony in terms of the side I'm liking. I think the wrong team's favored here. Alzolay has been good. Weathers, a young kid, a lot of upside, but at the same time, his numbers, aren't necessarily lights out. And one area, I guess Tony and I are in disagreement. I have the Cubs as my number 1 ranked bullpen here. They're top end arms. If Alzolay is able to go 6-7 innings, I think it looks strong for the Cubs late. So I'm going the Cubs plus 105 as a play I'm going to bet personally. How are you feeling in the nightcap, Brian?
Yeah, using his name as Frito-Lay sounds like a nonprofit hooker to me. I am going to agree in this regard. And I don't want to spoil my best bet, so I'll keep it short here. But the line's been going the Cubs' way, and I don't disagree. I will talk a little bit more about this when we get to the best bet section. But, yeah, I'm in agreement. The Cubs are the way that I'm looking in this one.
All right, good stuff. So wait for best bets for that one from Brian. Guys, reminder, $9 Monday at WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. We got all plays discounted to just $9. Shout out to Teddy Covers. Do the opening line report with him each and every week on Mondays. And he's on a 17-1 MLB run. So going to want to check out his stuff there on the diamond. He's got a free play up. Also check out Brian Leonard and Tony Finn as well at WagerTalk.com. $9 Monday, all plays discounted to just $9. So Brian, we got the Miami Marlins and Boston Red Sox here. We were saving it for last. It's a happy hour special here, 5:10 Eastern, 2:10 Pacific. Was Pablo Lopez. Now it looks like Zach Thompson. And just doing a little live research here, he's a reliever, I believe, from AAA. Hasn't gone past 3 innings here. Going up against Nick Pivetta in the Red Sox. It was Red Sox minus 145. They opened 165. We saw money come in on the Marlins. It went off, went black on the screen, and now we're seeing as high as minus 195 out there, plus 174 on the kickback for the fish. So huge move here. Low water mark to high water mark, almost a 50-cent move because of the scratch on the fish. So what's your opinion here as the fish visit the Red Sox in some happy hour matinee special here in MLB?
Yeah, Zach Thompson, 27 years old, 6'7", 230, right-handed pitcher. He's pitched out of the bullpen so far.
All right, guys, we got a little technical difficulties there with Bryan. So it sounds like he's on Wi-Fi.
Okay,
so hopefully we'll get that fixed here. But
Can
Tony, I'll throw it back over to you now with Miami Marlins, Boston Red Sox here. Pivetta versus Zach Thompson. 9.5 being the total here in Fenway. We're actually seeing tens and as high as minus 200. It's actually changing as we're talking here, Tony. Seeing 200 available at South Point here in Vegas on the Red Sox. So that makes the Marlins plus 180. You can get it at pretty high number here on the fish, but granted, it's a bullpen game. Tony, what are you liking?
I like the dog with Lopez as a starter. In fact, I wrote it up. It's a free play for me, and I'll stay with Miami here. This is a team who had lost 8 straight, I believe. Was it 7 or 8 straight? We talked about it before we went live, and I apologize for not knowing the exact number, but it's close to that. And they were scheduled to start Lopez, who's 1-3 on the season, although his 2.82 ERAs and it's a little better than his xFIP, and his FIP not quite in line, but he's been pretty good. He allowed 5 hits, 1 walk, 2 runs, and start Wednesday against the Blue Jays. But Mattingly decided to lift him, even though Lopez only pitched 4 innings. I think it was 4 innings against those Jays and threw 90 pitches. My email that I just received doesn't tell me why specifically the lift, other than it's probably rotational. So Pavetta's been really pretty good, guys. At least the service numbers will tell you that. The Red Sox are 13 games over 500. Why change something that's not broke, right? He's not been great against the Marlins. 11 career appearances against the Marlins, 8 starts. He's 2-4 with a 5.5 to a 6 ERA, and the FIP isn't very far away from that. So I think it's in line with that. But Pivetta has benefited from a high strand rate and a low BABIP. So in this situation, wind blowing out in Fenway, most are going to lean, and you already see it in the line, as you mentioned, Drew. Most are going to lean to the Red Sox against a Miami team that beat the lowly Pirates yesterday, I think 3-1 to break that losing streak. However, if it's a bullpen game, it looks like it's going to be with Thompson. Starting with Thompson, this is a very capable pitching staff from Miami. And if there's one thing I do trust, one variable I do trust with Miami, that is the pitching staff much more so than their lineup. But tonight, wind blowing out in Fenway, let's look for Miami to actually out-homer the Red Sox and get a nice underdog victory.
All right, yeah, big plus price here on the fish at plus 180. And to Tony's point, yeah, the Marlins bullpen has been one of the better surprises here, Bryan. I think we got you back. So going a bullpen game isn't a full, change the tires and fade the fish now. Their bullpen has been pretty good. The problem is it's an AL park, DH. The Marlins aren't one of the National League teams I really have circled as having the DH available and looking to bet on them because of their depth in the lineup. But having said that, the price at plus 180, this is a pretty plus price underdog here, Bryan. I think you're good to go for Marlins and Red Sox now.
Yeah, I hate if I'm repeating myself, I apologize for that. But Zach Thompson, 6'7", 230. Relief pitcher's got 21 strikeouts in 15 innings, but his whip is 1.6. So basically, he's got good stuff. He's just wild. Don't want to bet on Nick Pivetta. Pivetta is one of the most overrated pitchers in baseball. Take a look at his advanced stats. And if you look at StatCast, dark blue is great. Light blue is good. Light pink is poor. And basically dark pink, red is bad. And that's the situation we've got with Nick Pivetta. In fact, it was totally opposite. Red is good. Blue is bad. But still, I don't want any part of Nick Pivetta here. And Tony had some good thoughts on that, but he forgot to mention the Red Sox just played the Yankees last night. And that was a strange game. A lot of strange umpire calls in that game. Red Sox were lucky to get that victory. And now they're just coming off that series against the Yankees. And now they play a one-game series against one of the, what they're considering one of the lesser teams in the National League. Don't want any part of Boston at this number based on that. But then again, I don't want to play on Miami because I don't really know how long anybody's going to pitch. So this is a game I can easily just sit out.
Fair enough. And guys, another here towards the Marlins side, the Red Sox bullpen, Barnes, back-to-back days, their closer. So he's gone 3 straight days. I don't think he's available. We got Ottavino back-to-back in 3 of their last 4. So 2 of their top 3 arms here for the Sox out of the pen, likely not available. That kind of points towards the fish in the later innings as well. But guys, we got time for best bets up against it time-wise. But interested in where you're going tonight, Brian Leonard. Check them out, WagerTalk.com. Again, guys, $9 Monday. Brian, what do you got for best bets for the show, buddy?
I'm going to use the Cubs, looking to fade Ryan Weathers. He's been very fortunate with his ERA. You take a look at his advanced stats. His hard hit percent is 46.4 as opposed to 41.1 for Azalea. Azalea doesn't walk anybody. He's got a 5.2 walk percentage. Strikeout percentage 27.2 compared to 19.1 for Weathers. The Padres, if you take a look at this entire season for WRC Plus, both teams are basically even. They're really close to even. Take a look at the last 2 weeks. The Padres are one of the worst teams in baseball hitting wise. I lost on the Padres yesterday. I should never have given out that play. I trusted them, and I apologize to my clients on that for that loser, but I'm not going to do it twice in a row. I don't want the Padres right now. It's a fade of the pitcher, and right now they're not hitting. So how can you lay that type of number against the Cubs team who is 13-4 on the season versus lefties?
I like it. Yeah, learn from your mistakes and looking to go against them tonight for Brian Leonard. So again, guys, check him out, WagerTalk.com. Also check out Tony Slick Finn, his expert page, Tony Finn, $9 Monday. Tony, what do you got for best bets tonight, buddy?
Well, I just discussed it, and it's essentially it's a fade up of that as Brian mentioned, and I didn't because I was going to save it for this best bet section, and that is that not only did the Sox win in a strange game yesterday, but there's a letdown in this game because they didn't just win yesterday, but they swept the Yankees. So that's although it's not career Red Sox players that have been with them 15 years, it's the Yankees, and it's always a big series, regardless of how long you've been with the Red Sox or New York. And I guess Pivetta, his 3.77 is 1.22, 3.77/1.22 ERA to WHIP. Through first 11 starts is I think that's what it is. Pretty good. At least the service was pretty good. But as Brian mentioned, strikeouts are there, 26%. His control, his command is bad as usual. It is just not good enough, even against a Marlins team that hasn't been very good, or at least consistent offensively. And in this case, the price, if you're going to lay nearly 2-1 on Pivetta, you're a much, much braver individual than I am. Miami in a short card for this Monday, June 7th. Short card, it's Miami. Plus money, a nice price, with a bullpen game against Pivetta and the Red Sox.
I like that, Tony. Actually, guys, if you're looking for a little degenerate style, maybe all underdogs at the plus price. Speaking to Tony's, you can get the Marlins as high as plus 180 at South Point in Las Vegas right now. So big underdog there with the fish in the first game. And to finish up best bets here, guys, I'm going with the Kansas City Royals at another plus price here. Plus 140 is widely available. Can get them out there as high as plus 145. Couple reasons why. Cowher, he's making his MLB debut, former first-round pick in 2018 out of the University of Florida. His AAA number is very, very good. 41 strikeouts in 31 innings. That's a good strikeout rate. He has a good changeup. I really don't mind, and I actually look towards betting these top prospects out the gate. I'm not afraid to jump on these young bucks, especially when they're going up against Dylan Bundy. 0-6 on the year, 6.5 ERA. He's already given up 12 home runs. I think the Royals put up some crooked numbers here. We get the better bullpen as well. So Royals plus 140 for my best bet. Recap here, Tony Finn's, as it won't be up the number anyway, but Miami Marlins at plus 180 is the high water mark here. Looks like plus 175 you can get widely available. Brian Leonard Cubs plus 105, and I am on the Royals plus 140. So some big underdogs on the card. Hopefully we sweep it, and if not, two of three will be a huge plus price out there. If you are tailing, please smash the like button on your way out, guys. For Brian Leonard, Tony Finn, I am Drew Martin. Thanks for tuning in. Best of luck with your bets. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Best of luck until then.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.